Double game week 37 is finally here, and if you're unsure who you should be bringing into your side, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate transfers target video. And starting off today's video, we are of course going to talk about Manchester City and their potential assets for double game week 37. In my opinion, everybody on this list could easily make it into your team for this game week. Haaland probably should be a captain. Let's not beat around the bush. He's probably going to be your captain. And if you've got that triple captainship left as well, double game week 37 is probably going to be primed and ready for you to use it after his 4 goals against Wolves today. 44 points as well. Absolutely storming it. Look at the reduced minutes he's playing as well on there. It's absolutely crazy what this man is capable of in 90 minutes of football. He is absolutely a machine. He's just a machine, isn't he? He's just too good. Just too good at football. He's absolutely lethal. And like I said, should be a captain. If you've not got him, what are you doing? I'd even potentially consider taking a minus to get him into your side for this double game week. KDB is second on this list. I think it's a switch between him and Phil Foden. Which one do you go for? Both of them, as you can see, putting up pretty good numbers over the past 5 game weeks. Phil Foden's is a little bit lower. He's seen some reduced minutes due to illness as well. KDB's data is slightly edging it in terms of his expected assists, so I probably would suggest going for him over Phil Foden, but it's very, very tight indeed. Which way do you go? Which one do you go for? I feel you could get lucky and go the right way, or you could get extremely unlucky and go the incorrect way, or you could do what I've done and just have both, because at least someone's going to return. That happened today. Phil Foden got the attack in return, but it would not surprise me to see KDB do extremely well in the double game week. And then moving on to the 2 defenders, Gvardiol and Walker. They're probably the 2 to go for, probably the most likely to get attacking returns as well. Gvardiol has been a little bit of an attacking return machine over the past 5 game weeks. As you can see, 2 goals, 2 assists. Picked up another one for winning a penalty today. 39 points from him, the highest scoring defender for Manchester City over this time period as well. So he's probably the one to go for and probably will be the most transferred in defender of this game week as well. But I think Kyle Walker is a very steady option. I prefer these 2 over any other defender as well. So like I said, anybody on this list could make it into your team. Very, very easy. Which one you're going to want to go for is kind of up to you. I think it's a very, very split decision between KDB. I think the Gvardiol one and Walker one, Gvardiol does edge it, and then Erling Haaland should be in your team, and like I said, he should be your captain for next game week. Newcastle United are definitely a team I would be looking to load up on in this double game week. They have got some cracking assets and have a very, very strong double coming up for them. They play Brighton, one of the most out of form teams in the Premier League, conceding a lot of goals, only 3 Premier League wins this calendar year as well. Then they also face Manchester United. Now you might be thinking on paper, that's a little bit difficult, but United defensively, they are one of the worst defences over the past 5 game weeks for XG conceded, and are one of the teams that has faced the most shots this season. So not a very good defence going up against a Newcastle attack that is purring at the moment. As you can see on the screen, we do have 4 players highlighted with their stats, but we will come on to talk about Callum Wilson at the end, who is in the middle. Starting off, the highest scoring player over the past 5 game weeks for Newcastle United has been Anthony Gordon. A lot of people said he couldn't do it away from home. Well, he went and picked up an assist today, didn't he? So, you know, potentially proving some of those haters wrong. 1 goal, 5 assists for him over the past 5 game weeks. Historically, over the course of this season, he is a better performer at home. One of the fixtures in the double is at home, and I wouldn't, you know, go against Anthony Gordon. I think he is a fantastic asset. I'd much rather go him over Bruno Guimaraes, who is second on this list as well. I think he just offers a lot more in terms of creativity and goal scoring ability. I know it looks quite close on here. The data though is leaning towards Anthony Gordon. I think he is the better player as well out of the 2 in my personal opinion, and definitely a player for 6.3 million I would be considering picking up this double game week if you haven't already got him. Moving on to Alexander Isak, again another very strong showing from him. Could have had another goal as well, did miss a penalty in the 52nd minute for Newcastle United. Potentially that could mean that, you know, with Callum Wilson back, he might be removed off penalties with that miss today, but let's wait and see how that one goes. As you can see, he has been flying in terms of the past 5 game weeks. 5 goal, 1 assist, really good underlying data as well to go with that. If he hadn't missed that penalty today, he would have been Newcastle's highest scoring player over that time period as well. And I think offers himself up as a potential differential captain option this game week. It's a cracking set of fixtures. He is bang in form. Newcastle's attack as well is purring. So definitely a player I would potentially be looking to bring in if I didn't already have him. He would be up there as one of my top transfer targets. Moving on to the final player on this list, we've got Dan Burn. Now, interestingly, I think I'm not overly keen on the Newcastle defenders. It's an okay double. They might keep 1 or 2 clean sheets. In particular, I think he'd be okay if you're looking for, like, you know, maybe a bench boost and you're looking for a defender that has a double. He's probably up there as one of the kind of top targets. I think realistically, I would prefer a Manchester City defender. Gvardiol is sticking out as the main candidate for me over the likes of Dan Burn. But potentially, if money is an issue and you are just looking for a defender that is going to play in the double game week, going to pretty much play 90 minutes in both of the games, then Dan Burn is a very solid and reliable player to go and pick up this double game week. Now, finishing up, let's talk about Callum Wilson. There was murmurs that, you know, maybe he was going to start this game at the weekend. I was potentially considering him in. I spoke to Golden Goal. If you haven't gone and checked out his channel, go and check it out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He dropped into my my deadline stream, on Friday evening and obviously highlighted, you know, Callum Wilson could be a decent option. Obviously scored, like I said, maybe with Alexander Isak as well missing that penalty. They're going to give the penalty duties back to Callum Wilson as well, and could be a cheeky little differential if you wanted to go for maybe a double Newcastle striker force. I think I would prefer doing that over going for Dan Burn. Yes, he is coming back from a long-term injury, so might see reduced minutes. I think he played around 60 minutes in today's game. So again, could maybe see about 120 to 140 minutes over the double game week, but he is super prolific when he is fit and available. Both him and Isak are fantastic options, and if you're feeling a bit rogue, a bit rascal, maybe a little bit randy, then I think Callum Wilson could be a great differential pickup for this game week. Moving on to Chelsea and their potential assets for double game week 37. They play Nottingham Forest and Brighton, who we've already spoke about, one of the most out of form teams, not even just in the Premier League, in terms of Europe as well. It seems like things are going wrong down at Brighton. Chelsea yet to play in game week 36, so if any of these players that I do speak about do pick up injuries, obviously just do avoid what I say and just don't go with it. These are the players that have been the highest scoring over the past 5 game weeks for Chelsea. Of course, Cole Palmer absolutely smashing it out of the park with his 7 goals and 2 assists. I imagine most people already have him. If you don't, what are you doing? Go and get Cole Palmer for this double. Again, offers himself up as a great captaincy option with 2 strong fixtures. Really could be one of those weeks where differential captains could shine through. I know Haaland is absolutely slapping Wolves right now, but, you know, maybe one of these weeks where we've got to go against the curve, maybe you're looking for that rank gain. I think Alexander Isak and Cole Palmer are probably potentially going to be the 2 that you would be looking at if you were to go for a differential. In terms of the other 2 midfielders on this list, Conor Gallagher and Madueke, I think both are avoids for me personally. As you can see, they've probably just hit a little bit of a purple patch, and I don't think their returns are consistent. Looking at the data as well, massive overachievement from both of these players. I don't think it is reliable data that these 2 have been putting up. I don't think this trend is going to continue of them getting goals and assists, in my personal opinion. So I'm going to put them down as the avoid column. A player that isn't on this list as well, I think, is Petrovic, or maybe one of the defenders. I think Petrovic is fine. I think he could be a decent shout. Just potentially watch the press conferences and make sure that he is fully, you know, available, because Sanchez is returning to training. So maybe Pochettino might drop Petrovic if this weekend's result potentially doesn't go their way, or if Petrovic has a poor performance as well. So just keep your eyes peeled for that one. That's why I've not included him on this list, but I think he is also a very smart pickup. But like I said, Gallagher and Madueke, no. Palmer, yes. Petrovic, yes, as long as Sanchez isn't back. And then finally, the last one is a little bit of a curveball. It is Nicholas Jackson. I think he could be a great player to potentially go and pick up this double game week. Maybe if you're looking at that bench boost as well. Maybe you're just looking for a forward replacement. Maybe you've got that extra Chelsea spot available. Nicholas Jackson could be your man. 6.9 million, like I said, yet to play in game week 36, but did pick up a goal in game week 35. The shaved head, it could be doing it. The data that he's been putting up throughout the season as well has been pretty terrific. That has continued as well over the past 5 game weeks, and it would not surprise me to see him go and get at least 1 goal in this game week. So I think Palmer, yes. Petrovic, yes. And I think Nicholas Jackson could be that little bit of a cheeky pick. The rest of the players from Chelsea, I probably would put down as an avoid. Moving on to Manchester United. Now, for me personally, I think their assets could actually be an avoid. They are yet to play in game week 36. They've got a difficult task against Crystal Palace, but their game week 37 fixtures a few weeks ago looked pretty appealing. Now, I'm not so sure. Arsenal, not probably going to be a strong one. They're obviously in the title race. They need to go and win that game as well. So, I probably expect Arsenal to go and do that as well. They've been putting on some really, really good performances. Then, Newcastle United as well. Again, another team on form, absolutely cooking. And with United's poor defensive record as well, I do see them not winning any games in double game week 37. I'm going to put it out there. It's a bold claim, but I just feel that way. I feel United's double, is potentially a little bit of a trap in my personal opinion. I think it's probably not worth having any Manchester United players. If you've already got them, that's fine. They've got a double. But in terms of bringing any in, I'm not too keen. Personally, I'm not too keen with bringing any of these lads in. Bruno is probably the standout candidate, but it looks like he is going to be a doubt for Monday night's game. So let's wait and see if he potentially plays that one. But he's actually been putting up some really, really good numbers. Good in terms of data and in terms of attacking returns as well. 6 goals, 1 assist for him, 54 points. He has been one of the standout performers in that Manchester United side over the past few weeks as well. The data, like I said, the points, everything is cooking from him. But, you know, with him being a little bit of a doubt, maybe he might see some reduced minutes over double game week 37, or might not even be available for double game week 37. That one would be a little bit of a wait and see with that one. Make sure he plays Monday night, and then if he doesn't, make sure what Ten Hag says is very positive and strong about his potential appearances in double game week 37 before bringing him in. Garnacho, again, if you've got him, I think that's fine. I had him, I switched him out for KDB. That's the move that I made this week, but personally, I probably would not be looking to go and bring him in this week unless it, you know, maybe enabled me to go and get somebody like Erling Haaland or someone like that, or some other big hitter. Then that's probably the only reason that I would suggest bringing him in. Other than that, like I said, I feel this double for Manchester United is a little bit of a trap. In terms of defenders as well, I know I'm going to get asked a few questions about this. I think Onana's fine if you play in the bench boost, could pick up some save points, but in terms of the double, I don't expect a clean sheet. Same with any of the other United defenders. Dalot, I don't think is going to justify that 5.2 million price tag with the poor defensive record and data that Manchester United have been putting up. Harry Maguire at 4.3, maybe if you're like me, I'm currently sat on Gusto, and if he's not available, I might just make the switch to Harry Maguire. I've got one transfer to burn. I need, obviously, that bench boost player to play as well. It is a double, so that is the only reason that I'm potentially considering Harry Maguire, is just that it's better than having no player and gives me a player for the bench boost as well. That is my current thinking with that one. Other than that, I probably would not recommend any of these players. But let me know what you think about Manchester United assets down in the comments section. And finishing up today's video, we're going to take a look at Spurs and their double game week. A little bit of a hit and miss one. They've got Burnley in the first game and then Manchester City in the second game. So a little bit, you know, one's good, one's bad. But they do have quite a strong record against Manchester City. They always seem to manage to score, especially Son as well. He seems like one of those players that likes to turn up at the Etihad. So that potentially could be something that does enter your thought process as well. I think the Burnley fixture is absolutely terrific. They were abysmal today against Newcastle United. The only problem is Spurs are really, really off the boil over the past few weeks. They are yet to play, obviously, in game week 36, so we might see an uptick in their form, but recent performances and recent FPL points as well have been absolutely disastrous, as you can see from this list, compared to every other player and every other club that we've kind of looked at so far in this video. Some really, really low numbers. Son with only 17 points, Johnson with 16 as well, right behind him, Pedporo with 15, and Van der Veen with 12. In terms of Son, again, I don't think I would recommend bringing him in. I think I would gamble on one of the Manchester City boys for this double game week, hope that they can produce some magic. I think that is where I would rather throw my hat than bringing in Son. I think if you've got him, that's fine. You've probably had him since double game week 35, so fair enough. Just keep him for this week. Maybe he'll produce something magical against Manchester City, or potentially go and win and maybe pick up some points against Burnley. Brendan Johnson, again, I don't like this move. I feel I would rather have an Anthony Gordon over Johnson. Yes, he's been putting in some okay-ish performances. The data's not the worst in the world, but for me, I think there are better players in that midfield position. I think I would actually prefer going for a single game week player over Brennan Johnson. Pedporo, yeah, he could be one that could be all right as a pickup. Good attacking returns. That's what we expect from him. Defensively, though, Spurs, they're leaving a lot of questions. Like Manchester United, not the best in terms of the data, not the best in terms of keeping clean sheets either, and that probably rules out most of their defensive options for this week, unless you are playing that bench boost chip and you are looking for defenders. Pedporo and Van der Veen, they're probably okay pickups, but I would not be expecting too much from a Spurs wobbly defence. And then the final player I wanted to talk about was Richarlison. Obviously just coming back from an injury. He obviously, before he got injured, was in a massive purple patch, and maybe this could be the rejuvenation to end Spurs' kind of drought, maybe puts them back on trajectory, ending the season quite strongly. It could be a little bit of a differential option. I think personally there are much better midfield options to go and pick up, but maybe if you did fancy a little bit of a gamble, Richarlison could be your man for the double game week. Those were my transfer targets for double game week 37. Let me know what you think of them down in the comment section below. If you've got any questions about your team as well, let me know, as I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.